Oh. Oh, what a visual. Alright everybody, we are back for more Object Ward. Yes, it didn't take another 2 months. Okay, but seriousness aside, I'm looking forward to this next part. Like I said, we're halfway through the routes now. Well, in terms of the character routes, there's still the still a friendship route that I need to go around, and after that I still have to go back and do all the endings. So yeah, we're still not quite half done with this series yet, but hey, you know what? I'm sure Thug won't mind more Object Ward content out there. So yes, so this time around, it was a bit of a toss-up between Randal and Jones, and after some thought and deliberation, and even asking in Thug's Discord, I've decided this time I'm gonna go with Randal. If you somehow clicked on this video without seeing the title or thumbnail. I haven't made the thumbnail yet, but I'm sure it's gonna be great. So, but yeah, this time around we're gonna go with the Randal route. I was forewarned that this is the darkest of the routes, so I'm mentally preparing myself for what that could entail. Right, so we don't follow either Kent or Jones. Nah, I'm good enough on my own. I'll walk around, making sense of this place. My biggest priority was for me to understand the ward's layout. I squinted at the bare bones walls. Man, this was hard. How much could I roam around on my own? It seemed the only two colors the ward loved to show off were white and blue, making any identification of where I was beyond difficult. Peered out of one of the windows. There was such a large fence surrounding the perimeter. How far did this ward stretch? Ah, yes, don't worry, we'll get to you eventually. A person passed me. It wasn't the white and blue colors of the staff, though. It was white and pink? Dorothy? She pressed onwards as if she was ignoring me. When I hurled around the corner, she was already gone. Dorothy, come back! I'm sorry for what I did. I thought you were fake. Fine then, her loss. Apologies were a waste of time anyway. I continued where I left off. Analyze. It is interesting, now that I really think about it, like, that's the most we see her outside of the intro. Like, we don't see her in any other routes. Like, she's mentioned, but we don't see her, so... And the fact that she's, like, locked behind completely other the routes... Crackpot theory, is she even real? Crackpot theory, like, does she actually exist? Like, is she actually fake? I mean, I don't want any confirmation either way, but that's my crackpot theory at the moment. White and blue, more white and blue, a rat scurrying behind a radiator. Nurse's laughter echoed around the corner. Just my luck, it was only a matter of time until I ran into the staff and was forced to do their bidding. So yeah, standing still is what led us to Priscilla. So this time we're gonna duck into the room, which I'm guessing is the security room. So, yep. I slipped through the door crack for anyone who could spot me. Immediately, the inside greeted me with a mishmash of lights randomly blinking and wires humming. What caught my attention the most in this electronic jungle were stacks of TVs recording almost every inch of this place, including me? Whenever I waved my hand in front of the TV mountain, the blurry figure at the bottom of the right screen followed. This image just screams meme material. I don't know what it is. I feel like there are memes that could be made from this. Cool. I flipped it the bird. I mean, what else are you gonna do? That's natural instinct. The rest of the room was what you'd expect from nothing but men working in it. Crumbs, magazines of swimsuit models, and even an old sock hidden in the corner. Don't do that in a public office. I would have felt at home if the room didn't smell so sweaty. On one of the tables I passed by, there was a pink box, the lid partially open, and its illustration of donuts absolutely beckoning me. Yeah, I still love this detail here, which I'm guessing is supposed to be Wendy's. I still love this little detail. I love the little detail of how literally every human, even in pictures and stuff, has an object head. It is such a cute detail. Drat, none left. I patted my grumbling stomach. I was skipping lunch for this. A loud snoring by the TV mountain almost gave me a heart attack. A large gun was peering from the top of the chair. Yeah, out of context, that would freak me out. I think I recognize that guy. I met him on the tour the other day. Priscilla said his name was Randal. He must be in a deep sleep if he couldn't hear me clatter around the room. I tiptoed around his chair to get a better look at the mysterious guard. Also, while I'm thinking about it, I love this music. I love a good simple guitar. And yeah, this seems like it would fit Randal. Yep, that's a gun pointing it right at my face. If the sight couldn't get any more uncanny, his gun barrel was widening and narrowing to the tune of his snoring. I never touched a gun, but nevertheless, I was always curious about them. If I pulled Randal's trigger, would it fire? Before my curiosity gained the best of me, I noticed one donut, all alone and sad, resting on his shirt. The case of the eaten donuts would soon be solved. I plucked it off his chest and ate it. My favorite cop stereotype had come true. Food was already putting me in a better mood. With newfound energy, I decided to scrutinize the cameras again to glean any additional info. I know, that play in the AFC Championship was insane. At this rate, the Broncos are guaranteed to win the Super Bowl. To celebrate, I'll buy the whole room the cheapest beer I could find. How's that? If Randal doesn't drink it all first, make sure to save some for me. 2 guards enter the room, a meathead and a football head. I ducked to the floor. Randal's chair had hid me well. Oh, they actually came into the room? I thought he was watching on the cameras. I didn't realize how much time had passed, but I couldn't afford to stay here much longer. I sat down at another table to turn on the TV. Randal's snores were immediately drowned out by the sound of football. Of course I had to go and jinx myself. Jerry, how does bottled water sound? That was utterly bizarre. My spirit, though curious for investigating the rest of the ward, was dampened by the detour. There was a whole cabal of guards to avoid, not just Randal. If the nurses finally caught me, so be it. I sulked back to the common room. The next few days were loathsome, seemingly blending in with each other. I had group therapy in the morning, therapy with Acevedo in the afternoon, then stuck with extra group therapy or bonding activities in the evening. Nightly curfew was strict, and how I pretended to take my required antipsychotics was a tale for another day. Goody Two-Shoes may have loved the absolutely strict routine, but for me, I wasn't sure how much longer I could stand it. To keep myself motivated, every night I thought of a new escape plan, each more flawless than the last. The ward was archaic. Surely it had plenty of secrets I could find and utilize. Around a week into my stay, I decided to put my plans into action. Plan A, Operation Antagonistic Acrobatics. Here I come. If I were to fail, which was unlikely, there was always Plan B and C, and today is not the day we typically meet, but do you know why I called you here? For my stunning good looks? Plus, I've been receiving reports of you putting yourself at risk through your downright dangerous escape attempts, 26 to be exact. He went through all of them for fun. Let me read one of them. Pole vaulting over fence. Hey, it wasn't my fault the fences were fortified with barbed wire. Crawling through a laundry chute. And I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for those meddling nurses. Mr. Moss, I am serious. If you continue your little escapades, I will have no choice but to place you in temporary isolation. It's not fair. Do you know how desperate I am to escape this hellhole? Hellhole is a harsh comparison. This place was never meant to be a punishment, but a way to help you reintegrate back into society. Do you hate it that badly? Yes, 1,000,000 times yes. If I don't escape here as soon as possible, my entire life will be spent rotting away here. I sunk into the couch. I'm doomed. I'm so doomed. You are anything but doomed. If you were, would I be here talking to you? I'm aware there is stigma surrounding psychiatric hospitals, but I assure you Clark County is anything but inhumane. We've advanced far in psychiatry to help patients and to make sure they're safe and sound with security, keys to open rooms, and plenty of watchful nurses. A human life is precious, so we don't want those who are suffering to hurt themselves. We want to prevent it, so we do everything we can. So please, Mr. Moss, enough with escape attempts. If you help me help you, you'll be released from Clark County in no time. Fine. Anything to avoid a straitjacket. After another hour of chastising, Acevedo was convinced enough that I would change my ways, letting me leave. Pfft, as if. For some time, I would have to lay low. 26 attempts. I still don't understand how all of them were foiled. A giggling noise caught my attention when 3 furniture-headed women appeared. I threw my shoe at them, but they deftly dodged. Do you think it's because of the cameras that you're constantly getting caught? Cameras? Yeah, they're on the ceilings, studying your every move. I looked at my own bedroom ceiling, but only found it ridden with water damage. Down the hallway, however, was a silver camera staring me eye to eye. It looked old and cheap, but had been recording the outside of the patient's rooms this entire time. I'm surprised you hadn't noticed yet. I thought back to the security room. Every trained individual in there made sure no one could get in or get out. What if I could find a way to circumvent that? If I studied security, I could better understand the ward's layout and weaknesses. Randal seemed like an easy target. Sluggish, simple-minded. No match for the great Manson. I rubbed my hands in anticipation. Good work, ladies. You're not useless after all. Now will you... No, buzz off. My first reconnaissance mission was to study the routines of security. These men knew the ward like the back of their hands, but surely there was a weak point to be found. Nurses typically patrolled the ward during the day, but since there was a nightly curfew, guards took over for the night. The guards carried flashlights, impossible to miss them. For the past couple days, I'd been peeking out of my room, scoping for my gun-headed target. I could do this all night, one benefit of my insomnia. Or was it out of excitement? One day, however, at a pleasant 4 a.m, I saw Randal shuffle past. I silently closed my door and tiptoed after him. What was the key to the lock? What was the key to lock this again? Whatever. For both the front and back, Randal was physically intimidating. But in a way, the air he gave off was alluring. Who was this man protecting the ward with his very life? I recognized that familiar jingle in his belt. He was using the same keys as Priscilla. I better be careful not to fall far behind. Huh? Click. The door of the next hallway was locked. Not even 20 feet from my bedroom and I already failed my mission. I rattled the doorknob for a few seconds before scampering back to my room. Furniture women were already waiting to ridicule me.
It's okay, Manson. We still love you. Baby steps, baby steps.
Maybe you'll graduate from diapers, this winter? No. I'm breaking out of here before the end of spring. Instead of mocking me, why don't you help with the reconnaissance? Where's the fun in that? I grumbled and collapsed into bed, hoping there was enough time to catch up on beauty rest before I'd try again next night. Room 309, it's time to wake up. I hate this place. Shaking the sleepiness away, I was ready to rescope and re-pursue. Contrary to yesterday, I spotted Randal at 5 a.m. Punctuality was not everyone's virtue. Yeah, who does he look like, Kent? I ninja tiptoed after him, easily sneaking past the locked hallway door. Upon him entering the bathroom, the ward became eerily quiet. I squinted at my imaginary wristwatch. First it was an imaginary pocket watch, now it's a wristwatch. I love this. I love that. Seconds passed, then minutes. For all I knew, Randal could be passed out or dead on the toilet. Aha! The man of the hour had emerged. Look at me, slipping into the shadows. Your secrets will soon be mine. I reached for his belt. Forget being a spy. Perhaps being a ninja was my true calling. I'll learn how to sew and make myself a nice black suit. Then I'll carefully craft smoke bombs, then... Sir, are you lost? Busted. Huh? Who is that? Randal looked down. Smiling, I hid my hands behind my back. This is a patient that I oversee for group therapy. His name is Manson Moss. You were following Mr. Anderson for some time. Did you need something from him? No, I wasn't. I was trying to figure out... Yes, I'm lost. Take me back to my room, wherever it may be. Oh, Kent, Mr. Goody Two-Shoes, spoiling the fun. What I needed was a disguise. Oh no, this is gonna go great. Something that would easily allow me to blend in my surroundings. But what? What? A nurse outfit would not work, as I had no idea where they were stored, and I doubt I could nab one off a working nurse. Painting myself as white as the ward environment was a thought, but again, no clue where I'd find a storage closet. Any plan would be infinitely easier if I had a dang map. Remind me again why I didn't pay attention to Priscilla's tour? As I sat in the common room pondering this, a patient walked past and threw her sandwich to a nearby trash can. if there was ever a chance a light bulb headed person was hovering above, I paid it no mind. Manson, you don't give yourself enough credit for your ingenuity. Oh, I love that. Hey, can you pass the mustard? Can't you see I'm busy? I love the cartoony moments so much. I held in my yelp. Turns out running around through a metal bin, completely obscuring my vision, was... He's disguising himself as a trash can. Okay. Oh, and there's actually a sprite for it. He really thinks that's gonna work. He genuinely thinks that's gonna work. Okay. You know what? Sure, let's go for it. Let's see what happens. Thankfully, Randal's heavy boots and frequent grumbling made it easy to track him. I was as graceful as a ballerina, matching my footsteps in tune to his. When Randal turned around, I became a statue. When he moved, I moved. We repeated this process several times, my moves growing bolder and bolder. I could be on one foot, upside down, or even mooning him, but as long as I was quiet and still, Randal hardly suspected a thing. Slowly but surely, I was starting to understand the layout of this place. It wasn't shaped like a labyrinth, but it sure was large as one. The ward had large bat-shaped wings with many rooms that branched off of it. Patient rooms were located towards the end of the wings, while therapy and offices were located towards the middle. As long as I knew my location relative to the wings and what floor level, I could make my way around. We were now back on the 3rd floor, meaning that Randal's patrol was soon coming to an end. Once he rounds the corner, I'll ditch my disguise and...
Oh my, it seems there's not enough room for you in my massive breasts.
Excuse me? Excuse me? My disguise's interior became several times more crowded. Indeed, I was being crushed by a voluptuous sock-headed woman. Her outfit was completely made out of trash, smelling just as pleasant. I could hardly move, much less see. She must have been an inanimate like the furniture women to appear so boldly. Does that mean they could appear at literally any time? Turn back to a sock, dang it. I don't have time right now.
Like what you see? Need a closer look?
I'm good, thank you. The woman's pasties, literal bananas, jabbed into my ribs. Her weight was enough to throw us off balance. Begone, alien seductress! I shall not be tempted! I never thought the enemy would swoop to such low measures. Was Randal truly that important for my plan to be injured? Boots stomped towards our position. Firm hands gripped my disguise and ripped it off, exposing us to a very grouchy guard. Whoops, toodles. I attempted to grab her so we'd both be culpable, but she phased through my fingers and into thin air. Damn dirty socks, you can never trust them. I've had enough. What do you want? Oh, hey Randy. Can I call you Randy? Fine evening we're having tonight. So, I was, trying to get to know you more. I think you're cool. If Randal had eyebrows, he sure would be raising them right now. I wasn't being dragged off, so it was presumably safe to continue my smooth talking. Cool? Yeah, and courageous, and smart, and I'll do anything to be more like you. You're a real inspiration to me. When I show the state I'm well-adjusted adult, whatever that means, I figured I could be a security guard. Sounds like a job for someone menacing, and I've already been called a public menace. Can't argue with that. Aren't you a little small for a guard? Size doesn't matter, it's the spirit and how you use it. Can you take me under your wing and show me what it's like to be you? Pretty please? Fine, I'll let you if you shut up. I saluted. With Randal's supposed blessing, I silently trailed him, at least until I got bored. Then my trailing turned into skipping, then moonwalking, then Irish jigging. So, go to your room. I double saluted. I stood in front of the heavy security door, knocking to my heart's content. When the door finally opened, I curtsied and tipped my imaginary top hat. Greetings and salutations, my dear mentor. Christ, you really came back. He walked away before I could concoct my snappy response, plopping into his chair and cracking open a nearby beer. Can I have one? No. With his foot, he turned the TV on. Unlike the rest of the screens, this larger one was displaying a cowboy. Wow, it's in color. Only this one. It's a leisure TV, while the rest are for work. Colored CCTV costs too much. I watched him watch it. The show looked slow and boring, with way too many advertisements in between. My attention turned to his waistline. Whenever he shifted weight, I heard the light rattling of keys in his back pockets. Of course, when I actually want him to fall asleep, he doesn't. I sighed and instead focused back on the cameras. So are the ward's exits filmed? Yep. What about the therapy and nurse office? I ruminated over whether he watched me be a nuisance in Doc's office. Randal remained silent, which I took as a yes. If I'm not found in the security office, I'll be walking rounds in the ward. I wish I could stay longer in the office, but there's not enough security to allow that. So why are you guys so scrupulous with security? Are you hiding something? If only. It would make this job less boring. A ham. Interesting. A door opened behind us, revealing another guard. I jumped and hid behind Randal, but the new man laughed. Who is that? Should he be here? A long story. Just ignore him. Wait, I recognize him. Just the other day I made a sign about your little buddy. All for you, Randal. Let me know when I should update it. What does it say? Is my handwriting that bad? It's a record of your escapes. Oh, that's adorable. All 26 attempts were recorded and preserved on VHS. You're a paradoxical train wreck of ingenuity and pure stupidity. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Who else could have constructed a failure of a hot air balloon using nothing but tin foil? Explains why you're here, little buddy. I know that's not as funny as how I'm feeling right now, but a hot air balloon made of tin foil. Oh, Manson, I love you so much. Charming. I pushed the sign out of my face. If you're that determined to escape, then I have a special surprise for you. Stop, Jerry. And you can stand to live a little. Follow me. We walked to the front entrance, where Jerry took a key out of his belt and unlocked the doors. Immediately I heard the choir of angels and harps. Freedom, within my grasp. The guards watched me drool and ogle the outdoors. Come on, the entrance is right in front of you. Break for it, break for it. Jeez, he sounded like he was baby speaking to a dog. However, the open gates and beautiful blue skies were beckoning me. The floor was drowning from my sweat. The pain, the agony. Randal squinted, judging if I would bite the bait or not. Mustering up the courage, I swallowed my curdled screams and turned around. Boo! Randy, he's all yours. Disappointed, the meathead walked away. That's why. That's why. The meathead walked away, but the doors were still open. Resist, Manson, resist. If I fell for it, my next location would be a one-stop shop to a padded cell. Freedom! My legs were moving, but getting nowhere. Randal yanked on the back of my collar, throwing me to the floor. Ah! Sorry. He promptly locked the doors and dragged me away. Good afternoon, Manson. Found yourself in any more mischief recently? Nope, I'm an angel. Can't you see? My object head is now a halo instead of a rubber duck. Acevedo gave me a confused look and wrote down what I said. Internally, I thanked Randal for not reporting me. But have you been taking your medication? I'd file that under good behavior. I scoffed at his cheeky rebuke. It's part of my duty to guide lifestyle changes. I want to foster good habits, not bad ones. Let's build a routine together. As much as I enjoy being your psychiatrist, do you have any friends to keep you accountable? I wouldn't call him a friend, but I've been tagging alongside this one guy named Randal. He's a security guard. Oh, how interesting. Do you want to become one? Of course not. I couldn't tell Acevedo the actual reason behind my tagging along. Maybe. I'll consider it. Well, it wouldn't hurt to ask Randal to be your accountability buddy. I imagine he's an observant man, so he can help keep you on track. That is all for today. Have a good afternoon, Manson. I left the office rolling my eyes. Accountability buddy, how dumb. I didn't need to be accountable to anyone but myself. The next night, Randall and I were tasked with the night shift rounds. They make me work rounds too much, but not enough cameras. But all you do in there is watch TV or nap. Exactly. I followed behind him as if I was a little puppy. He moved up and down the floors, looking both ways before crossing the hallways. Whenever we met a nurse, Randall nodded his head, showing that I was allowed to follow him. Why all the security? Are there any super dangerous patients in the ward? The securities to handle the more unpredictable patients, but some murderers are at the ward. There's a woman here who killed 2 children, one of them being her son. She's mostly solitary, but I have no trouble managing her. I hope I never meet her. Plot twist, it's Dorothy. I wondered what her head would be. A knife? Hopefully I was too old for her as well. What are you here for? A long story. Would you believe me if I told you I was cursed by aliens? No. Well, too bad. It happened. And now everyone around me has inanimate objects for heads. What's my head? A gun. He scratched his chin like trigger guard. A gun? Fitting, but stupid. The aliens have a twisted sense of humor, but I find your gun head kinda cool. Hey, can I play with the safety? Don't touch that. My hand was swatted away. Tinfoil usually helps combat the mind control rays, so if you see any, smuggle me some. I swear, tobacco is easier to come by in the ward. I'll, keep an eye out. Do you often use guns? I knew how to shoot a gun before I could even walk. I'm pretty good at it. Papa was the best. My dad never taught me anything cool like that. He was always out of the house. But I was wild. I was free. I could do whatever I wanted. Yep, and now you're here. Have you ever been to a gun range? Dude, I've never even touched a BB gun. A shame. The Red Ryder model's the best. But don't shoot your eye out. Sufficiently patrolled, we traveled back to the security office. Randall turned on the TV, but not even seconds into the program, he fell fast asleep. Randall had used his keys during the round. Where did he put them? I tried digging my hands into his pockets, but no success. And when he was fast asleep, of course he was sitting in a position where I couldn't steal his keys. At least his thighs felt nice. Maybe I should concentrate on disabling the cameras first. No cameras, no witnesses. Yeah, I'm actually shocked that they're letting the guy who had 26 escape attempts in such a short amount of time anywhere near the security cameras. Granted, he failed 26 times, but, you know. I crawled under the table to see what I was dealing with. It was a vibrant entanglement of cords, and I wasn't sure what connected to what. No knife or sharp object was in sight to cut. Excuse me. So I decided to use the next best thing. Please don't tell me it's your teeth. Holding the power of a rat. Motherfucker. Holding the power of a rat, I chomped through the cords. They were tough, but my teeth was tougher. Boy. A fellow rodent popped through a hole in the wall to stare at me. Some of the nearby wires had suffered the wrath of it. I peeked my head above to see that one of the TVs was already flickering and hissing. Thank God this was working. My tongue was starting to feel numb. I bet. Ow! The numbness turned into searing pain, throwing me onto my back. I think my tongue turned black. What the hell are you doing? Suffering from the result of your carelessness. Yeah, this is your fault, Randall. There I was, minding my own business when one of your beer cans landed on the wires. There was still alcohol inside, so it shocked me. I ought to sue you in this death trap of a place. But why were you on the floor? There are chairs. Because... clean after your own crap. I'm not your maid. To distract him, I chucked a beer can in his direction. It gracefully soared through the air and smacked him right in the kisser. My butt landed on the hard hallway floor. He kicked me out. I rubbed my aching behind and blew a raspberry at the camera outside of the office. I sure hope the wires aren't replaced anytime soon, because my tongue could not survive another bite. I had to get closer. To think like a security guard, I had to be one. Or was it the other way around? Just my luck when I caught a useful target strolling through the hallways. Hey, Priscilla, looking good as ever. It's been a long time since we talked. Are you still mad about my escape attempts? I never thought toilet plungers were strong enough for climbing walls, but I have been proving wrong. I can still hear the noises. So you aren't mad then? Great. Can I ask you a small favor? It's about your friend Randal. Upon hearing his name, her demeanor slightly relaxed, though she couldn't hide her needle twitching back and forth from suspicion. I swear it's not anything bad. Does he have any interests? Favorite foods? Why do you care so much? I also want to be his friend. Randal sure could use more of those. All I need is advice on how to get chummy. Can you help? Whatevs, not my problem. I was planning on dropping off some chocolate for him, but I have a meeting I need to sleep through. You can give him the box. I thought he'd enjoy them. Thank you, you're the best. But if you ever misuse toilet plungers again, I'll force you to unclog every crapper with your mouth. Oh, Randy, I have a surprise for you. I skipped and parade towards him, finally stopping to present my treasure. I batted my eyelashes with a smile that would melt the most frigid of hearts. For me? Yeah, I knew you'd love these, I squinted at the wrapping. These? Aren't I the best? Aren't we the dearest of comrades yet? What did you slip in? Do you trust me that little? Yes. Oh, I am hurt, absolutely wounded from such cruel words heard at a poor maiden like moi. Theatrics aside, I brought you an unopened box of sweets. See, the bow is still attached. Do you want them or not? Thanks. I skipped away, pleased with my good deed of the day. Sometime later, I wondered if he was enjoying them. Pressed my ear against the security door. Nothing there. I heard his gruff voice, alongside a raspy feminine one, inside the nearby bathroom. I can't believe you ate the entire box at once! There were 20-something pieces! Bourbon balls only have a trace amount of actual bourbon, just for the taste. What went through your head, Randy? I didn't know. Can you hurry up already? I'm tired of rubbing your back. I think you got some on my skirt. I'll inform Randal that it was Priscilla's idea all along. Despite my thoughtful gift, Randal's heart remained as cold as ice. Yeah, I wonder why. He never lowered his defenses around me. Did he think I was a pest, unworthy of respect? After all the time we spent together, I'd show him. I announced my presence with a forceful stomp. Put him up! I'm tougher than you think I am. Eh? I boxed the air near Randal, showing him I meant business. 1, 2, uppercut, total knockout. The guard chuckled. Good thing I used the box. He pushed up his sleeves, revealing a hairy but toned arm muscles. I gulped. Those forearms were larger than my thighs. How about arm wrestling instead? I'm pretty skilled. You? Featherweight champion in elementary school? What have I told you about size not mattering? I have the spirit and I am determined to use it. Fine, show me what you got. At the same time, we slammed our elbows on the table, ready to rumble. Oh, this is not gonna end well for Manson, is it? The count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Ah! I pulled with all my Twinkie might. While I wasn't losing, I certainly wasn't gaining leverage either. Priscilla had suddenly appeared in the room, laughing and devouring a pocket of popcorn. What? What? She knew about this? I love rooting for the underdog. You can do it, Manny. His yawning infuriated me. I hopped on the table for extra torque, looking like a monkey pulling on a lever. Gotta be kidding me. How dare this jerk fall asleep during our battle of the fates? A little further. Snap. Something broke. Yep, I figured. My crash landing and screaming woke Randal up. His arm had not budged one bit. It's a sprain, all right, but I can't put this brace on if you don't sit still. My poor arm. Hey, can you spoon feed me? Oh, and sponge bathe me too? If you truly need it, I'll oblige, but the injury is not that severe. How on earth did this happen? By fighting my greatest opponent yet. Goliath won this round, but I'll be back. For a few weeks, my right arm was in a stupid metal brace. My valiant efforts must have earned the respect of Randal, though, because the next time we met, he fist bumped me. Well, fist bumped my left hand. I was having a lot of fun watching movies and following Randal around, but I still felt unsatisfied. Though I was glad he trusted me enough to be in this position, I still had not perfected my great escape. One day, Randal said he had to guard the entrance. Guarding a single spot was rather boring. Every so often, patients came in, we checked that they had no sharp or loose objects, and they checked themselves into the ward. When the patients left, he also made sure their papers were signed. They usually sprinted out, never to return. After being here for about 2 months, I sympathized with them. How long will you be guarding? Till midnight. Staff has been pretty thin this month due to some quitting, so it'll be me and Jerry, if he bothered to show up today. And what time is it now? About 4:30 p.m. Tell me about it. Hey, Four Eyes. Sometime later, a dye-head man came storming towards us, huffing and puffing. I recognized him. He was Marcellus from group therapy. He frantically waved a paper in front of Randal, but the guard refused to budge. Come on, just let me out. It's just scribbles on the release paper. I'm tired of my shitty-ass family keeping me here. There's a signature in the paper, see? Take a nice, long look. Gah! Marcellus had kicked Randal in the shin before busting out of the front door. Oh, shit. Son of a... Get back here! I remained in the lobby while Randal chased after the man and pinned him down in the parking lot. Seriously? Come on, man, let me go and I'll never blab. With Randal occupied, I really could have just straight up ran out the door, but there were nurses and the receptionist in the lobby watching the scene intently with me in their view. It's almost amusing to see Four Eyes fails. Hey buddy, I've done this a million times, specifically Operation Rowdy Running. How does it feel now? Despite being in a fireman's carry, Marcellus threw a fit to the best of his abilities. Randal didn't respond to the near blows and kicks to his head. You're being too rough, you worthless piece of shit. I'll have my lawyer after you and you'll be sued to the ground. I'm bringing you back in, so stop creating more work for me. I have to report this incident, you know. I'm getting out of here if it's the last thing I do. The die was dropped on the floor once inside. Got it. Look, it's my job description to not let you... Look, it's in my job description to not let you out unless you have a doctor's signature. Do you have one? Yes. Again, all I see are scribbles. Marcellus scampered off. Any patients witness to the event pretended to not see anything. Christ, I need a drink. Well, just go to the receptionist. I'm sure she can hook you up. I'll join you. Drinking is fun, but I prefer smoking. Do you smoke? Randal shook his head. Makes sense. No one wants the loony bin to have access to nicotine. It was the start of the evening that Randal and I went into the security room. He fished through the cabinets until one spilled its hefty contents. Wowie zowie, that was a lot of whiskey. Slumped into his chair and bottle in hand, he stared at the ceiling. This place sucks. I feel you, brother. Pay sucks, the food sucks, people here triple suck. Preach it. This gun was drunk as I was handsome. Again, nothing else, I respect Manson's self-confidence. When I left the police force, I thought security was the next best thing, but I ended up babysitting snot-nosed brats. Why'd you leave? None of your business. Okay. I don't have a specific theory, but I can tell it's not anything good. If a cop's leaving the force and doesn't want to talk about it, there are a few reasons. Whatever he was about to reminisce about, he instead downed another bottle. I looked through the cabinets and fished out an old album. Well, that's mine when I was a kid. I own one. Same with each of my friends, if anyone cares. Yes, the album. I flipped through the book, finding leaf presses and old trading cards. I chuckled when I saw photos of younger Randal, happily climbing on rocks. Priscilla's appearance was surprising, though. I never knew the two were childhood friends. Even as children, they retained their respected object heads. You were, cute. Oh, that's adorable. There's squirt guns and paintball guns. That's adorable. I flipped farther, coming across photos of children with toy gun heads, one paintball and one water gun. There was also a photo of a woman, this time with a Derringer head? Derringer? Hold on. Oh, okay, so it's an old pistol. Okay, I got you. Without a face, her age was ambiguous. They all looked so carefree, relaxing on the beach. Oh boy, again, cop leaving the force. Now we're learning about his presumed family. Yeah, I don't like where this is going. Who's this? Sister? Girlfriend? Give me that back. Whiskey in hand, Randal weakly reached for my arms. Suddenly he stumbled, spilling his alcohol onto the album. He wailed. Ah, geez, I'm sorry. What's gotten into you? Oh boy. I generally don't know where to go with this. Let's distract him. I stopped him with my hand. Want to calm your nerves? Then sit down and have another drink. I'm taking care of it right now. Never had I seen a man chug alcohol so quickly. Randal slammed the empty bottle on the table faster than a dehydrated man who just found an oasis. Jealousy filled me. I'd never win against him in a drinking competition. I grabbed some nearby napkins and shoved them on top of the book. The napkins were soaking up the damp parts well, but I still wish I had a blow dryer. I'm almost done. Stop being a baby. Do you know how thick this book is? You could crush someone's head with it if you're not careful. As if he was a marionette whose strings are cut, Randal collapsed. I felt uneasy from how hard his head slammed against the table. Hey, Randal, you okay? Alive? Hello? I gave a couple pokes to his shoulder. I sighed out of relief. He wasn't dead, just out cold. When he wakes up tomorrow, the hangover will be the least of his pain. I sat back in my seat, looking at the snoring mound of muscle. For him to fly in such a panic, that album must have been precious to him. I gave it an extra drying wipe with my sweater sleeve before sliding it under his arms. Photo damage may not be severe, though only time could tell. It was eerie being the only conscious person in the room, or because of the time, the only conscious person in the entire ward. I could just leave. My eyes widened. I finally knew my way around and how to avoid patrolling staff members. There was no one here to stop me. I stood up, gulping down the sinking feeling in my stomach. The last bastion of defense was in a drunken stupor. This really was the end. Hey, Randal? I only knew you for a month or two, but I always thought you were cool. I slipped my hand into a waistband to pull out a string of keys. Those CCTVs were still damaged enough to be unreliable. Nurses would panic for the next couple days, knowing a basket case like me had escaped, but I'd be long gone. Eventually, the ward would return to normalcy, and I would finally be back at my base, tinfoil hat in hand. Couldn't wait to be home. Good night. Ending 14, worth a shot. Okay. That might actually be the first bad ending I've ever gotten, assuming that's supposed to be a bad ending. Huh. Yeah, that might... maybe, I don't know, that kind of feels more like a neutral ending than anything. I don't know, like I haven't gotten any of the bad endings, so I don't really know how that compares, but... It seemed like a neutral enough ending, so yeah, not a terrible one. What did I end up doing last time? I distracted him, right? Yeah, I distracted him. Sorry, so this time let's stop him. You've had enough for tonight. With one hand, I stopped him and swiped the bottle away with the other. I won't be responsible for you choking on your own vomit, but I don't know. You may look good in brown. In fact, I'll drink some right in front of you. No. Oh yes, you drunk jock. How are you gonna stop me? He could hardly stand up, much less fight back. I grabbed some nearby napkins and shoved them on top of the book. The napkins were soaking up the damp parts well, but I still wish I had a blowdryer. Next, I took a good sip of his whiskey. I enjoyed how strong the alcohol was with the burning sensation on my tongue. I drank and drank till the taste was overpowered by how sick I felt. Everything went dark. The room was swirling around me in a mismatch of colors. I hazily made out a gun looming over me. Yeah, don't you love that? You wake up from a hangover and you see a gun pointed at your face. I didn't expect today to be the day I went into the light. Where am I? Better yet, why does it feel like several elephants are tap dancing on my skull? I shut my eyes to protect myself from the brightness. Excuse me. You blacked out. For how long? It's Thursday morning. Oh crap, I need to get back to my room before the nurses notice. Randal beckoned for me to follow him. I gripped a seat to shakily stand up. Outside was still dark, so it couldn't have been too early in the morning. Upon reaching my room, I dove into bed, ready for what little shut-eye I could muster. It was far more comfortable than the security floor. Oh, bed, how I missed your creaks and wobbles, your mothball-riddled mattress. Let us become lovers as I enter your embrace. Room 309, it's time to wake up. Oh, come on! 1 hour later. Shut up. Just shut up right now. I can't hear myself think. Manson, we weren't saying anything. Do you have a headache? I have Tylenol if it's serious. Shut up. Ow. And yes. Some agonizing time later, my hangover finally left me functional. I stormed to the security room and pounded on the door until it opened. You are a heartless monster. Excuse me? Taking advantage of this poor, confused soul by imbibing him. You fiend! Scoundrel! I am but a sproutling. Oh, if only there were retribution for these crimes against me. Randal looked deeply uncomfortable as I melodramatically laid across the security table, wailing and moaning. I shall be forced to tell my psychiatrist. Unless what? Unless you show me more of your movie collection, tee. May have been a bit of blackmail, but it was for the greater good, my entertainment. You are an odd guy. You could say he is a sad, strange little man. Whatever, I'm not interested in getting into trouble. He chucked a random VHS tape into the TV and slumped onto his chair. A cowboy appeared on the screen. Didn't look any different from the other billion westerns we watched. To lighten the mood, I sat next to him, hopefully showing him that I was engaged in the mindless entertainment. Who's that? The Lone Ranger. Childhood hero of mine. If his name's on something, I own it. The character on screen had a revolver head, riding a normal-headed horse. I was glad that animals lacked object heads. Yeah, that would be very interesting. That would be so interesting if animals had object heads. He's cool? Mm-hmm. I'm his #1 fan, so treat him with respect. The more I examined Randal, the more I realized how animated he was during the show. His head tilted back and forth to the theme song. He lightly chuckled during the sillier moments or frowned when the story got serious. This was his favorite show with his favorite hero. A loud gunshot sent me jumping several feet into the air and onto his lap. Ah, we're gonna die! Not when I'm here. The burliness of his arms, gentle in his embrace, brought a blush to my cheeks. I've never been held this way, like I'm a pretty princess. Randal was my hero. The guard must have forgotten that he was holding me as we continued watching the VHS in this position. I wouldn't mind doing this again. Watching movies, obviously. Every day after therapy, I dug through the movie bin to see what was next. We were bonding quite a lot over them. I enjoyed the explosion-heavy action ones. Randal preferred horror and westerns. To make him less grouchy, I let him pick, often to my detriment. His genre tastes were questionable, to say the least. Gah! That zombie horse is biting a duck. Now the zombie duck is biting people. I told you ducks were evil. It's just a duck. Scared? No. I'm telling you, zombie ducks are the most terrifying thing possible. What was the director thinking creating this abomination? Quack, I want to eat your birds. Eek! Don't do this during such a terrifying scene. Imagine 10 of those bastards wanting to eat your flesh. Scaredy duck. Stop that. Quack, quack, quack. I flinched, but refused to give in to Randal's torture. Chuckling as if he told the funniest joke in the world, he increased the TV's volume so we could hear the actor's screams of agony in greater clarity. I never cared much for these kinds of horror. It's too simple. I always thought you preferred zombie cowboys or Nazi zombie cowboys. What is it then? Not enough horror movies with cowboys, true. But you want to know what really scares me? Cosmic horror. The feeling of existential despair speaks to me. Have you ever stared into space and wondered about possible life out there? What if there were other beings with power beyond our comprehension, lurking in the vast beyond? When you, and especially me, die, absolutely zero people will care. We're too insignificant in the grand scheme of things. We humans have only been on Earth for several thousand years. What about them? Randal, you're kinda creeping me. Not just insignificant. We're utterly powerless. Like ants who will be annihilated without a second thought. We can't do anything but accept our fate. I've already accepted mine. Beyond the stars is the infinite abyss. I stared into it and stared back. You'll accept your fate one day as well. Can you feel the despair seeping into your very bones, Manson? It's almost comforting. Horror is strange, isn't it? Ain't it? Randal finished his tirade with a yawn, stretching his arms as if he had had a rigorous workout. Are you sure it's the alcohol? Are you sure alcohol is the only drug you're consuming here, Randal? Are you sure it's just the alcohol, or are you or whatever. I don't smoke pot. I don't know. Well, I had a nice talk. Since it's getting late, I'll walk you back to your room. Oh yeah, I haven't seen this in a while. It was a long and lonely night. The only ones not happy about my movie excursions were the furniture women. As I laid in bed, relaxing after another entertaining night, the hallucinations appeared, huffing and frowning. You've been goofing off for weeks. What about your escape plan? Maybe later. After a few more movies. I still need to gain his trust, you know?
That junk rots your mind. Well, too late to warn you.
If you want to stay trapped here forever, you have no one to blame but yourself. Yeah, shut up. We're watching Aliens tomorrow, and you're not invited. The amount of viewed VHS tapes gradually outnumbered the unviewed ones. The guards during break often brought their own, and only due to their forgetfulness could we view the contents without a problem. One day, though, Randal and I were scratching our heads due to a new mysterious one he found buried at the bottom of the tape bin. What does the VHS say? Dunno, the label's rubbed off, but the tape itself looks like it was played 1,000 times. Let's put it in. I've always had a wicked case of morbid curiosity. Think it's someone's confession tape? I doubt it's anything good. Oh! You sure about that, buddy? You sure about that, buddy? Oh, more. Oh, yes. Give it to me, big boy. As fast as he could, Randal's finger stabbed the power button. Why the hell did someone bring porn to work? Aw, but there's no one around to see. Put it on again. Pushing Randal aside, I turned on the TV to find a face full of boobies. It looked like a professional porn video, with proper lighting and plenty of camera angles showing off every inch of her body. Her head, a stoplight with a glowing green eye. I was curious if her eyes would change color depending on the situation, but she was loving it all the way. Check out the size of her bazongas! The way they're bouncing around is mesmerizing. They are indeed grand. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? What? Finishing the tape? Randal gave me a confused look while I flashed a cheeky grin. As we stood there, we realized that her moans were pretty arousing. The bulges in our pants agreed with us. Randal was staring at the screen, brazenly stroking the outline of his... Look, personally speaking, if I were in this situation with another man, the last thing I would be doing would be sharing this intimate moment together. That's just me, as a straight man. Just saying. Just saying. This is the kind of shit you do in private or dedicated to a partner who is your actual partner, not just a guy you hang out with. But again, that's just me. Fine, just a little. My mouth began to drool. His stifled moans were so arousing I couldn't help but rub myself too. I would love her cute little mouth on my cock. Her head didn't look like it had any openings to penetrate, unless you counted unlit eye sockets, which sounded like a terrible idea. Want my mouth on yours? Huh? I'm not... You could close your eyes and pretend it's her on the screen. Okay, see, again, this I'm drawing the line here, Manson. No, I'm drawing the line here. I'm drawing the line here. The actress moaned her response for us. He took a swig of alcohol and slammed the bottle on the counter. Nothing liquid courage wouldn't solve. Oh, whatever. All right. No, yes, see, no, no. You could not get me intoxicated enough to do this. You could not get me intoxicated enough. What just happened? Oh boy, that post-nut clarity is gonna hit him hard. I wiped my face grinning like a maniac. Just sucked dry by a cute stoplight-headed babe. You can clean up the mess, no? Stoplight, what? I skipped out of the room, leaving a dazed Randal, pantsless and covered in his cum. If he wasn't gonna warn me about his load, then I wasn't on his cleanup duty. The last thing I heard was someone... Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. The last thing I heard was somebody opening a door. Who the hell left porn on in here? The next morning, I entered the security room giggling. The mysterious tape was gone, but a recently used hammer was in its place. Good morning, my most magnificent man. Did you have any pleasant dreams? Randal sat in his chair, lazily turning the dials on the TV. It's all a blur. Aren't you the teens he is a bit curious about last night? No. Was he playing dumb or truthfully too hungover? Randal's mind was an enigma. If you ever desire my expertise again, don't be afraid to ask. Not needed. Okay, Mr. Grump, I'll leave you to sulk alone. I still cannot believe we had sex together. Yeah, oral sex, fair enough. That wouldn't be the way I describe it. I wouldn't mind doing again, but alas, the circumstances that allowed it were but a flash in the pan. Over time, he warmed up again and things returned to normalcy. I was glad to have my free movie theater back, though his office provided plenty of other benefits. Excuse me, Mr. Anderson, by chance did you happen to see Manson Moss come by? As soon as the door opened, I hid behind one of the bulky tables. I motioned to Randal to stay calm. Psst, don't tell Doc I'm here. I don't know. Alright, I'll leave you to it. When I find him, I'm going to give him a piece of my mind. The door closed. Chuckling, I crawled out. This is the third time this week you've snuck in here. What gives? I hate going to therapy. Is it that bad? Well, my doctor isn't torturing me or anything. It's just boring. Really, really boring for my pathetic attention span. So much constructive criticism that it feels like my head will explode. Another knock came. I was becoming quite deft at hiding. A greater reason why I should become a ninja. Sorry to bother you, but is Manson Moss here? Nope. Oh dear. I better keep looking then. Randal squinted at me. Group therapy is its own can of worms. The last person to poke her head in was Priscilla, but she refused to budge. Okay, that's enough goofing off for one day. I have to keep some semblance of a curfew in here. Come and collect him. Oh, you were supposed to protect me, Randal. Whoops. The head nurse and I walked down the hallway to my bedroom. Seems like you and Randal have become pretty close, huh? That's right. Jealous. Oh my, that close? Should I give you 2 more privacy and make sure to knock before opening, lest I taint my innocent eyes? We're not like that. Pulling your leg. As long as you're kind to him, I could care less. He doesn't show it, but he's a delicate softy deep down. However, if he spills any juicy secrets, be sure that I'm the next person to hear it. I swear, that man guards himself tighter than Fort Knox. I enjoy a decent challenge. Are you all talking about me? Nope. Go finish your nap, hon. You deserve the beauty sleep. Oh, that is adorable. Oh, he's fishing. It's cute. Randal was a strange man, but a good friend. Yeah, I said it. Friend. Even if he never said it aloud, no one else would lovingly tolerate me or shelter me like he did. Eventually, all thoughts of escape just slipped my mind. If I enjoyed my time with him, why would I abandon such a fun friend? And as his friend, doing grunt work with him became more bearable. Night shifts weren't so bad with me by his side. Today, however, was a stranger day than normal. In one of the patient wings, I heard familiar voices loudly whispering. Fuck! Using your hand like that is a low blow. Oh boy, who's this? I pressed my ear against the door. Fumbling and slapping noises were coming from inside. It sounded serious. Is that the best you I almost guessed that it was Marcelus and Heiko. Is that the best you got, Heiko? I can do this all day, Marcelus. So Marcelus and Heiko were roommates, duking it out with their fists. Yeah, that's what's happening. I wondered who was winning. Double entendres were my mortal enemy. Marcelus was face down, ass up, and being absolutely plowed into. In between his shrill barking was modes of pleasure. Oh yes. Yeah. What was that you were saying? What was that you were saying in Kent's root, Marcelus? I'm not a homo, unlike you and Nurse Sissy over there. Yeah. 4 Eyes out of all people. Wow. Guess you never can judge a book by its cover. So you don't want to reach around? You are friggin' insufferable. Say the words. As if. Once you finish in my ass, I'm gonna strangle you. Hurry up. I love you too, Marcy. My jaw dropped to the floor. Randall sighed, pressing onwards as if nothing happened. There. You'll grow used to it. One would think the paper-thin walls and lack of bedroom locks would stop people from running like beasts, but you'd be mistaken. I remember when I walked in on Priscilla and... Nah, forget it. There ain't enough whiskey in the world to wipe my memory. Well, don't leave me hanging. Who was it? Who? I've seen things you patients wouldn't believe. Oh, yeah. Bodies contorted and bound into inhuman shapes. I watch objects shoved into orifices previously thought impossible. If only these moments would be lost in time, like piss in the rain. Time to suffer. Wussy, I do that on a weekly basis. That doesn't sound too bad. Ever seen waterboarding with a person's own cum? It makes a grown man shudder. That's a thought. Note to self then, stay far away from Priscilla. I wonder what other weirdos were having sexual misadventures in the ward. Acevedo? Too uptight. Me? Nah, I wasn't that weird. Shaking our heads of that nonsense, we continued marching. When we reached the empty common room, something small and furry zipped by. Ooh, come here. It was a rat, just like the one who helped me defeat the security cords. I chased after it, but it was faster than me. We watched the rat scurry into the shadows, never to be seen again. Aw, he reminds me of my son. Randall's head swiveled 180 degrees. Your father? Yep. Well, not biologically. Manson Jr. was a beloved son of a certain raccoon persuasion. His clever name courtesy of moi. I adopted him when he broke into my home base. We ate together, slept together, and brawled over the same scraps of meat. He gave me countless love nips. I'm practically immune to rabies. Shame Manson Jr. disappeared when the hallucinations made themselves known. I shed a tear from the thought. So pretty please, take pity upon this poor man and let him experience the joys of fatherhood again. No. I'm leaving to buy mousetraps. You are a cruel man. Who doesn't want you to get bitten? Go back to your bedroom. Why are your arms in braces again? So, you know how mousetraps use pieces of cheese as bait? Don't tell me. I got hungry. Christ, I can't take you anywhere. Want me to autograph the brace? How about a sponge bath? Autograph it is. Fucking Manson, man. It was a miserably hot summer. hot enough to cook eggs on the sidewalk, not to mention the soles of your shoes. The ward's AC was busted, but thankfully Randal's office had a portable fan. I found myself yelling stuff into it, giggling at the garbled noises. Yep, that's always fun. Hey, do you know why my voice sounds so weird? Hell if I know, kid. I don't get paid enough to. Aw, you never get paid enough for anything. My point exactly. So what made you become a guard? There was a newspaper advertisement looking for a security guard. Said yes, simple as that. Nope, not saying it. Not saying it. Not saying it. Can't argue against that. Nothing better to do, Randall and I watched the Belmonts on TV. A big TV meant a big screen resolution to see all the racing action. An ear-splitting bang sent the horses sprinting. Thankfully, the man's westerns had mostly desensitized me to gunshots, though I couldn't help but squeeze his arm. And they're off! A guard walked in and sighed. Get back to work when the race is over. Aw, it'll be a short break with how fast the horses are. Which one do you think will win? They're on the backstretch with Magambo still in the lead. Well, I have my answer. Don't be so sure. All the horses have recorded odds, but these races can change at the last second. Primary reason why I don't gamble. But what I would give to ride a horse in that race, or ride a horse in general. Then why don't you? Job. Takes up all my day, and I've never lived on a farm. How would I get to one? We go to a farm, duh. So you're saying we play hooky and sneak out? Perhaps. Chicken. Now on the end of the stretch, and dancing connection, and John's treasure are still neck and neck. This will be a close one, ladies and gentlemen. Randall's attention kept swiveling between watching the noisy TV screen and conversing with me. The race about to be over any second, he stopped talking and pressed his gun against the screen to wait for the outcome. And dancing connection has won by a half and a length. It's amazing! Pouring himself another glass, Randall sunk farther back into his chair. Damn it, I was rooting for the horse behind him. If the job is taking up all your time, then what? When else would we leave? Randall stroked his trigger guard, watching the jockey and his horse parade around the field. The man looked seconds from hopping into a jersey and sprinting onto the track. Why not? I've had enough. Now we're talking. Finally, you guys are up. Do some rounds on the first floor. Yeah, I'm on it. The gun-headed man grabbed his keys. Oh wow, he's really doing this. With no other guards in sight, we ran to his truck and let out a large sputter before he drove away. That was easy. And the guys will live without me. Riding in Randall's truck was an interesting experience. It clearly sounded like it was on its last legs, creaking and groaning. I poked at some stuffing that was ripping from the seat's seam. While I was afraid the truck would give out at any moment, Randall turned the dial on the radio, humming along to a rock song. Is this good? Turn up the radio. The guard obliged, and my eardrums nearly burst from the barrage of guitars. Okay, turn down the radio. We eventually reached a farm. Kent had promised group therapy we would visit farms nearby, but we always dipped at the last second for something nonsensical like friendship bracelet making. The lights were off at the farmer's house, so we hopped over the fence to check out the animals. Ooh, look at you letting me trespass. If we were back at the ward, I would have been dragged back to my room. You're lucky you caught me in a good mood. Group therapy lets us hang outside once in a while, but nothing beats this. Randall chuckled as I spread my arms wide to enjoy the cooling summer air. Around the fields, I caught sight of cows and horses. Just like on the picture show, they had no objects for heads. So it's only for people then. Good. I veered to the left, he veered to the right. Cows were strange creatures up close. The way they walked and moved reminded me of my duck arch nemesis. Could they? No. But they were large enough to sequester multitudes of mind-controlling devices. There was one way to be sure, Manson. I swear to fuck. The cows tried to trot away from me, but I was faster than them. With all my strength, mustering an even deeper reserve for my arm wrestling, I tried to tip the nearest one. The cow. That is not at all what I thought he was going to do. Holy fuck. That is not at all what I thought he was going to do. It was only because of me recovering from my recent injury that I failed. Sure, Manson. I'll name you Fatty. Oh. And you will be named Dinner. Huh? Stop trying to tip the cow. You're too little. Then quit laughing and help me. The cow whacked me in the face with the tail and I fell over. Further cementing my belief I could kick Manson's ass in a fight. The way he kept slapping his knee and guffawing was honestly adorable, but I couldn't get enough of it. It was deep and genuine compared to his usual bored chuckles. We hopped over the fence to reach the horse side. These animals were a lot more graceful in their presentation. 99% duck-free, but they were still mischievous. Ow! Ow! Don't chew my hair! Randal nuzzled the horse's neck. You're very beautiful. He tried to jump on top, but the horse trotted away before it had a proper grip, also whacking him in the face with its tail. Gah! My papa and I did a lot together, except for one thing. Ride a horse. Papa, when do we go ride? Papa, when are we going horse riding? I want to ride one. And then my pop went, quit yapping in that fake-ass country accent. I told you I hate it. So we never did. Where were you born? Maryland. Not exactly a horse state. But it was her idea for me to move to New York. I was thinking it was his sister. Is it his wife? Did he have a wife? Is that what's going on? Is that what happened? He lost his wife, so he left the force. Is that what happened? Randal tried to sit on the horse again, only achieving 2 seconds before falling. But he beamed as if he just won the Belmont. Once we were tired, we headed back to the truck. The guard was happily chuckling. And this brings back some good memories. I bet that was the most fun you've had in a while. Yeah, I lacked the motivation to go outdoors for so long that I forgot how much I loved it. You brought that itch back. Not even realizing it, I rested my head on his shoulder. I could feel the hardened muscles under his clothes. Let's do it again sometime, partner. Yeah. And before we knew it, our hands slowly intertwined, with neither of us pulling away. He liked it. You're awesome to hang out with. I want to do it more often. This was practically a date, wasn't it? A smoking, blushing Beryl stared at me, breathing faster than before. I moved my head forward, and so did he. See, this isn't making me laugh as hard as it should, because this has been a pair of emotes on Thug's Discord server for years, but it's still a fucking hilarious sight. Huh? I don't know what I expected except a metal gun in my mouth. Is this considered kissing? If so, this is the most unromantic and uncomfortable kiss I've ever had. From the way Randal was holding me, though, he didn't see it that way. Well, if he wanted it so badly, I decided to bite the bullet and relax my body, letting more and more of his barrel slide inside my mouth. Nearly all my energy was being used to hold in my gag reflex. Whenever I ran out of air, I pulled out to cough. There, satisfied? As if. I dove into his barrel even further. Our bodies were heating up and I craved more. I sneaked my hand under his shirt to caress and squeeze his pecs. Without hesitation, he pushed my hand away. Enough. We're headed back. Oh, if you want. The ride home was eerily quiet. Randal's hands gripped the steering wheel and he stared straight ahead. Was it the touching? I'm sorry. He sighed. About that kiss. Yes? Don't tell anyone about it. I'm serious. I'm still not sure how to feel about it. I have had a wife, Karen, and kissing another person feels wrong. You're straight? I don't know anymore. Give me some time to think. Well, did you enjoy me going down on you? His voice soured. A mistake. As he parked and opened the door to his side, he blushed. But thanks for dragging me out to the farm, kid. It was lots of fun. Someday I'll be strong enough to tip a cow. They're heavy. You'll need, say, about 4 people. And someday I'll have the strength of 4 people. But don't say a word. I promise. The guard unlocked the door to the ward for us to slip in. He beelined to the security room and slammed the door. I fell on my bed, still trying to remember that weird metallic taste on my tongue. The security office wasn't unlocked for me like usual. Strange. Randal, do you want to talk? Earlier, I saw his truck pulled in the parking lot, so I knew he was hiding inside. The door refused to budge. Oh, Randy. Mr. Moss, what are you doing out here? Group therapy is starting soon. Grumpy butt. Today, I would like to discuss a sensitive topic, if everyone is willing. It is about proper and improper coping mechanisms. Always remember, you're not alone in this. Deep down, we all have a little vice that makes us feel better, though not many are willing to admit it. It could be biting your nails or having an extra scoop of ice cream when stressed. But I love ice cream. And that's perfectly fine. What you need to keep in mind is how it affects you, physically and mentally. There comes a point where giving into these vices too frequently or intensely can lead to unhealthy habits and thus unhealthy behavior. For example, eating too much ice cream can lead to weight gain, though some vices are more dangerous than others, which is when you should avoid them altogether. Instead, you try replacing those habits with something more beneficial. Why not try writing it in a journal about how you feel? For me, I like to sew. I'm using my hands for far more productive activities. When I finish sewing a blanket or sweater, I can donate it to someone in need. Would anyone like to share theirs? We can give each other advice on how to overcome these mechanisms. What were you doing with your hands previously? Fair question. Kent looked flustered, grasping for the right words. It was, it's not important anymore. Nothing for you to worry about. This hour is all for you. Yep. Yeah, I know what he was doing it for. The room fell back to silence. The nurse began to twiddle his thumbs and periodically peek around, as if he was begging us to say anything, please. A puppy looked less pitiful than him. You can scream the facts at me all you want, but I refuse to give up my precious cigarettes. My vice... Well, I'm hopelessly addicted to sex. Does anyone here want to help cure me? A room full of groaning voices never gets old. Methinks Kent is too attached to me to ever kick me out. And as punctual as always, the buzzkill spoke up. How are the withdrawals coming along? Oh, you're one to talk, Four Eyes. Satisfied by your mom last night. Why, you little... Guys, please, this is a serious conversation. Marcelus, were you wanting to share something? On the opposite side of the room, a diehead grumbled. Man, why does it always have to be me? I could have not busted up that slot machine. At least you identify the problem and can learn from your mistakes. Displacing your angers onto others' property is very unwise. A solution is to instead use a stress ball. There might be a box of them if I search hard enough. Stress what? Do you know how much money I lost? Rigged machines make my blood boil. Once I'm out, I'm recouping my losses. Mark my words. I see. Anyone else? The conversation was soured enough that the nurse let us leave early. I checked the status of Randal's door again. Unfortunately, still locked. Guess I never realized how much that kiss truly bothered him. I'd give him some time then. I made my way to the common room where Priscilla was busy reading a magazine. She raised her eyebrows when I scooted closer. What do you need now, hon? How much you know about Randal's old flame? Oh boy, now that's a touchy subject. Hold your horses. He married her, they had kids, it didn't work out, and he's been a stick in the mud ever since. Oh, so he's a dad. Okay. Whenever I met his ex, she was a bit standoffish, but cordial. I was surprised when they broke it off. Did you ever love him? I won't dignify with that response. Shoot. She raised her magazine higher, blocking me from her view. As much as I'd love to gossip, let him talk to you about it. It's his life, not mine. People keep telling me to communicate, but it's so hard when one side refuses to participate. I was becoming used to the regularly scheduled showers. It's hard to put up a fuss when the water genuinely feels nice on your body. The cold temperature, not so much, but better than being grimy. The best part, however, is that I shower when my group blocks begin to leave. Hardly anyone bothers me then. Only very rarely do I enter earlier to sneak peeks at my associates' bodies. Anyone in here? Your time's almost up. Both of us were shocked to see the other. Usually it was a nurse or another guard who warned me I had to leave. Unless he wanted to see me? Or maybe it was just a coincidence. How's the weather, big guy? Great conversation starter, Manson. Might as well ask him if he's done anything new with his hair. Just making sure everyone is staying safe. I'm pretty safe here. I haven't slipped and cracked my head open yet. Feel free to check. I'll be stretching before wrapping up my shower. I'm not as flexible as I want, but I can show you my Pilates. I don't know. Watching another man shower is... I need to go. Finally clicked together. Was that what all the hiding was about? I knew it. Wait, don't leave. I didn't mean it that way. Listen to me for 1 second. You're no less of a man if you swing for the same or both teams. Randal paused. Actually, I think it's manlier, because there's no women involved at all. Sure, let's go with that. You don't have to worry about shopping for nail polish or dresses or whatever they say or whatever they want. Scratch that. I like nail polish. Look at me. I'm the fruitiest man alive, and I'm still the same Manson you know and love. And no matter what, you'll forever be Randal Anderson, the coolest guard I know and just know. What you should take away from my super awesome speech is that there's no need to feel ashamed about who you are. I have your back. Okay, he took that to heart. My heart almost skipped a beat. I was cornered by Randal, curiously studying me as if I was a zoo attraction. His sheer masculinity and coolness was making me weak in the knees. If you had done this to me sooner, I still would have hopped into your arms. I wanted to drop the soap. I wanted to see more of what he would do with those powerful hands. I wanted the stud to take me where I was. Aside from the shower, the only other noise present was our erratic breathing. Randal looked down. Take me. What should I do? Be a wise guy and crack a joke? Mention his half chub? Ignore all rationality and reach for his juicy... I swear there better be hot water for this next block. Oh my god, it's you! I didn't say anything. Nope, I'm out of here. Thank goodness it was just 4 eyes and an entire group of witnesses. I jumped out of the shower, shoving my pants on and grabbing my sweater. Corner of my eye, I saw Randal still standing in the shower, staring at the wall where I previously was. As I should have expected, the security room was locked. I refused for this to become a common occurrence. I'm not leaving till you talk. I mean it this time. If I must camp here overnight, I will. Clattering and banging sounds came from within the room before the door opened. Only a sliver, though, which an extremely ornery gun head poked out of. If I take you out, will you promise to finally leave me alone? Deal. I hopped into his truck and we drove off, far past the farm and into the deeper countryside. We reached an empty field, and with us being farther away from civilization, the sky was choked with stars. How did you know about this place? I've gone hunting around here before. There's plenty of deer in the forest. Any tigers? Just deer. I laid my head on his chest. Though he tensed at first, he then relaxed as we both admired the sky. Even at my home base, I never paid attention to how beautiful the night was. Crickets chirped, the lake bubbled, all was at peace on this earth. So, about recent events, are you sure you want me to buzz off forever? Randal sighed. No, but I'm still figuring this all out. We can go as slow as you want. As a patient, I have all the time in the world. Bi-curious men were a fantasy of mine, but for his mental well-being, I wanted to help him overcome his conflict. You and me, that was all a first. Have you ever been with a woman? I like them, especially the ones in the Hard Times magazines, though I've only physically been with guys. And both are great in their own way. I see. I pointed to the sky. What constellation is that? I like it. The Big Dipper? And that? Little Dipper? And this? Medium-sized Dipper? I don't think I've heard of that one before. Look, kid, I don't know my stars. Everything looks like a dipper to me. Oh yeah? What about that one? The pea-sized dipper. And that? The circle dipper. I can continue this all night, you know. Same. And we did continue the size quips for a while. I was genuinely impressed how long Randal could keep the joke. You'll eventually run out of descriptions. Try me. Our small talk eventually evaporated into quietness and observing the stars, and each other. Peering into his deep barrel hole was obvious danger, but I was drawn to it. Wanna make out again? Randal nodded. Light enough to miss with how deep in thought he looked, but it was a yes. I like you, quite a lot. I was enjoying how our relationship was developing. Slow, nothing rushed, just us men being men. My mouth met his barrel, but this time Randal accepted the groping. I rubbed his crotch, tracing my hand along his hardening member. With my other hand, I caressed his squishy pecs. Even through his shirt, his nipples were hardening and protruding. Let's go a little farther this time. How? Can I be inside you? That's quite an upgrade. I know you've already blown him, but that's quite an upgrade. It's strange being on the receiving end for once. I've bottomed plenty and can confirm it's not as bad as you think. If you're too uncomfortable, you can top next time. He gulped, probably looking around for any bottle to calm his nerves, but only found his fingers intertwined with mine. Okay, I'm ready. I'm not gonna look though. Facing away, he pulled down his pants, showing me all of his goods. His ass was the perfect proportion of thick and squishy. Was I supposed to shave? Oh. Oh, what a visual. Whoa, that was beautiful. Startled by the noise, I lurched back onto the truck bed. Oh my god, what was that? Was there an explosion? A sniper? I screamed for dear life. Ringing in my ears finally subsided. Was I still in one piece? I sat up and winced. My whole front side was painted with cum. I must have ejaculated on myself when I heard the bang. Okay, well hey, whatever floats your boat, Manson. I was definitely disgusted with my current state, but I was staring even harder at the man in front of me. Was that? No mistaking it, Randal had come onto the truck wall in several thick spurts, and his barrel was smoking too, all at the same time. Sorry, the safety must have been off. Almost died? From a gun? What would have happened if we did all that while I kissed you or put my dick in your barrel? The man was shuddering too much to answer. I laid back to gather my surroundings, taking several deep breaths. If Randal's head was a machine gun, would the firing be more rapid? Or if it was a bazooka, would there be a truck-sized crater in our spot? It was for the best that I met his handsome pistol head. The trauma would be everlasting, but it was cool. Let's do it again. How many bullets do you have left? What? Hold on. Oh, that was so hilarious. But please tell me he's not actually firing a fucking gun. That man's just hallucinating that. That excursion must have been exactly where Randal needed to start opening again. I was overjoyed when he opened the security room door as soon as I knocked. Nowadays, we hung out all the time. In the morning, he snuck me any leftover donuts. At night, I kept him company during his rounds. It was rather adorable seeing this stoic man grin for my cheesy jokes or whatever wild story I had in stock. Glad I wasn't a bother to him anymore. Do you have a troublemaker on your hands? He's practically attached to your hip. You could say that. Not just spending time in the security room. Every so often, Randal snuck me out to a bar, specifically the one he and Priscilla hung out at often. Specifically one which he and Priscilla hung at often, the happy cock. Thank you. Fuck, you think I'd been drinking. Jokes aside, it was pretty good. Other times, we went to a movie theater, only if a Western film was playing, of course. For the bedroom side of things, he didn't care all too much for gay sex. While disappointing, it was understandable. Spooning was more his style, which was easy enough to provide. Being the little spoon wrapped up in his muscular arms was enjoyable. I giggled, feeling my butt rub against them. The second may be your favorite amendment, but I'm a firm proponent exercising my 69th Amendment rights. I believe in the penis, the pussy, and the pursuit of the prostate. If this is your way of asking to shove your fist in my ass again, the answer is no. Go to bed. Aw, but I want to know you outside and inside. I'm not tired yet. Can you tell me a story? What about your life as a cop? That was nothing special, mostly meandering without a goal. Good enough to pass the test and move up from a grunt-level traffic duty, but no awards or real excitement. At least on the job, I met. Hugging me even tighter, his voice started to waver. Yeah, I'm sleeping. Night. I reminisced over his scant past until his breathing leveled. It was upsetting how much he continued to guard away. As soon as he opened up, just as quickly he shut down. It was like walking on a field of landmines. You aren't so bad after all, huh? Shut up. You've always liked me. Randal lightly tousled my hair and drifted off to sleep. Not bad. The man looked extremely peaceful when snoring. I laid my head on his chest and prepared for sleep to take me as well. Except for one teensy problem. Every time I closed my eyes, Randal released a loud roar of a snore. Oh, yeah, I can believe it. Another minute of this and I'd muzzle him with a silencer. I used a pillow to cover my ears, but it wasn't enough. My next salvation was a pair of pink and fluffy earmuffs that were laying on the When the fuck did he get those? I needed it more than the original owner. The earmuffs and pillow combo was no use. Randall's snoring was just too loud. My next options were either duct taping his barrel shut or sleeping out in the hall. You ain't taking my guns. Not in my backyard. I just want to sleep. I haven't slept that good in a long ass time. What about you? For the rest of the day, I made sure the ward knew how grouchy I was. Priscilla was not the only person used the security office for shirking responsibilities. While she was watching the season finale of a TV show, I made a paper airplane and threw it in the air. The plane directly collided between her twin mountains. Ha ha ha, very funny and original. She crumpled up the paper and chucked it at my head, narrowly missing me and Randal. The Bikes and Babe finale is getting good. Heartbreak and drama galore. I apply every year to be a contestant, but I guess I'm too amazing for them. Or you're 20 years too old. Zip it, asshole. In another life, I'd have been the host, writing all the plot lines. You'd have been my shoe shiner. Now that got me thinking, what if you guys always wanted to be? A millionaire, or a sexy ninja, preferably both. Yeah, I can't help you with that. You're too cuckoo in the cranium. A cowboy. They're brave, upholders of the law. Feared by criminals, but loved by the citizens. I found love as soon as I heard them on the radio. Wild West is over, but I guess I'm protecting people here. It's not the same, though. Randal, have you ever seen my costume closet? He shook his head. It ain't just for nurse uniforms. There's outfits for me and my partners when we're feeling adventurous. So your sex closet? Not all of it. Jeez, what do you take me for? Randy, let me alleviate your cowboy consultation. As they always say, dress for the job you want. Oh, this is gonna be great. Well, is this everything you dreamed of? Does he have assless chaps? I can see where this is going. That would be my thought. Is he wearing assless chaps right now? Okay, no. Okay, that I know of at least. Oh, he's even got the Lone Ranger mask on his barrel. That's cute. Randal twirled around, showing his leather-clad butt and bare abdominals. Fits like a glove. Hello, Sheriff. I should have given him a pair of ass. There we go. Okay, there we go. I knew there had to be mentioned somewhere. I should have given him a pair of assless chaps. He adjusted the black mask that was falling off his barrel. He looks so freaking dorky. Don't mind me taking photos. The tip of his cowboy hat, Randal's demeanor changed. He grinned as his swagger increased in confidence. I ain't no sheriff. Even his accent. I'm the Lone Ranger, and I fight for truth and justice. And I was Silver, his mighty horse. I'd let him ride me any day. Hi-ho! Please, please, please wear the maid outfit after this. Western theme made. Western theme made. Take it or leave it. Manson, I swear, if you miss therapy one more time... Oh. Huh. Savannah's facility in my butt screen on the floor hard hallway floor. We rushed to the door to feverishly knock on it. Please let me in, Mr. Anderson. I left my clipboard inside. Stop locking us out for every little thing. Don't be so embarrassed, Randal. We thought you were cute. Open up. Well, at least we tried. Guess I'll be taking my leave. Oh, no you don't. Before I could turn around, Acevedo pinched my cheek, dragging me to therapy. It was an awfully slow week, and this office was becoming abnominably messy. Alcohol bottles were everywhere, and they needed to go. Deciding to pitch in, Randal put away wrapped items in closets. What's that? Pot brownies. Some dumbass was eating them in the middle of the cafeteria. Anything like this or weapons are kept here in the confiscation locker until we dispose of them. And don't think about having any. They're under lock and key. Oh, where did he even get the pot? It was so clever you can combine drugs into a delicious treat. I should ask the mysterious patient to bake me a batch of Molly muffins. I don't know if that's quite possible, Manson. Again, I'm not a druggie. I don't know. Confiscation locker reminded me of Acevedo's desk drawer, where anything he stole from me was locked away. The bastard's locks were too powerful to lockpick, and my free porn mags. To lockpick and free my porn mags and tinfoil hats. I wanted those brownies. Okay, I feel like this is good. This is joke ending territory. But let's try stealing and see what happens. Randal wouldn't notice if one went missing. My hand snuck a minuscule napkin wrapped brownie. Well, I'm gonna crash back in my room. See ya. Bye. I flopped onto the bed and ate the brownie. I was a bit bummed how easily I swiped it. I would have welcomed the full cavity search by him. The treats weren't half bad. I finished them off, giggling at the warm feeling in my stomach. Yeah. Granted, pot isn't hallucinogenic, but yeah, probably not a good combo. Furniture women popped into existence, curious as to why I was happily rolling around. Is that cannabis? Maybe. Hey, buddy, old pal, why don't you pass me some? Nah. Fools, the devil's lettuce will cloud your mind. Dudettes, do you think there's infinite worlds out there? Yes, one where you finally escape this loony bin. But what if there was one where I was a hot chick and we banged? Imagine what our future children would look like. Oh, and then there's the lesbian ward reference. there. I think I do remember Thug saying there was a lesbian ward reference somewhere. Yeah, that's it. And what if Randal was a hot chick too? Oh, and Kent and everyone. Go to bed, Manson. Chair stumbled closer to me. You smell weird. And you look weird. No, you do, raccoon face. No, you armless freak. I'm sensitive about that, trash rat. Do you have anything else conversationally stimulating to say? No. You. If you continue, I'll rip your legs off next. A quadruple amputee. Just kidding, I don't care. Oh, just kidding, I don't care. Ignoring the trembling chairhead, I fell asleep. This was great. Thank goodness I whisked away those brownies when I had the chance. I never found them again. My running theory is that Randal had a relaxing evening as well. Oh, okay, so I definitely thought for sure that would lead to some sort of joke ending. On another one of our misadventures, we went to a farmer's market. It was crowded, so I followed right behind him, admiring all the wares. Apples, $2 a pound. Baskets for sale. All the vendors' heads matched their wares. How humorous. My favorite was a guy whose head was a warty pickle, though his personality was as sour as his head. Are you gonna buy anything? Maybe. Strawberries. Randal bought the pack and some hard cider. I sat down right next to him to eat. Oh, it's been a while since I've had these. Delicious, right? He chugged the cider bottle and let me have the rest. Satisfied, we hopped back into the car. Yeah, I could go for some hard cider right about now. I'll probably have some after this. I've actually got some. Unsatisfactory, however, was his driving. Oh, shit, yeah, he was just drinking. After consuming all that cider, his reaction time was sluggish and wasn't responding to any of my warning. Ah, watch out! Randal's truck sputtered onto the grass as we narrowly hit a lamppost. Oh, how I was resisting the urge to strangle him. Eyes on the road, dumbass. I don't even know if the airbags work in this hunk of junk. Sorry. Did you claim to be a cop? I'd give you 100 tickets for nearly killing us. Somehow, we made it to the ward in one piece. Helping the drunk out of his truck, we hobbled to the security room. I rolled him onto a chair. Go and sleep it off. Next few days, I caught him downing the rest of the cider as if there was no tomorrow. After the cider was gone, he moved to the whiskey stash, then the beer. Oh boys, is there some sort of anniversary coming up? That's making him feel this way? His boozy stench made it hard to spoon with him, but I obliged anyway. Immediately, he grappled me into his arms. All of the air was being squeezed out of me. I was ready to squirm out of his embrace when he began sobbing. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry I'm such a wreck. Then you shouldn't be drinking so much. Don't leave me. Of course I won't. Are you sure? Everyone leaves me. It's all my fault. Promise. I love you too much to. Sighing, I surrendered myself to his rib-crushing bear hug. Randal was never the most talkative fellow, so I often paid attention to his body movements and actions. I had my suspicions that something wasn't right, or hadn't been, for quite some time. Though I would consider his worst incident was when... Ah! Stop teasing me already. Are you gonna stick it in or what? Ah! It's in my hair! It's in my hair! Are you fucking bulimic or something? Why do you puke so much? Was there ever a moment where he was truly sober? I enjoyed my fair share of alcohol, but this was too much. Hey, kid, how about we go camping next time? For the entire weekend, just you and me. Sounds amazing. Perfect getaway plan. We'll fish, hunt, and cuddle together to stave off hypothermia, as long as Randal drives safely. The guard and I were walking down the hall when we encountered two familiar people. Oh boy. Jones was sitting on the floor, assuming a ball-shaped form while Kent was rubbing the quivering man's back. Jones, please, you need to get up. Let's walk you back to your room, then you can sleep for the rest of the day, alright? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's that Carvey fellow. Is he... Yeah, I don't know what triggered it, though. Please don't be mad at me. I'm sorry. How long has he been on the ground? For several minutes. I haven't been able to console him at all. Can you help me lift him? He's too heavy on my own. Hey, you need to get up. Randal squatted next to the curled up man. As soon as the guard's fingers graced his arm, Jones howled. Don't touch me! The bored head leapt up from the floor and sprinted down the hallway, forcing Kent to chase after him. I'll be right back. Don't move. Sweetie, she's not there anymore. There's no reason to be upset. I'll help you feel better. Could you give me your arm, pretty please? Kent retrieved a long syringe from his files, increasing Jones' howling when he saw it. No, I don't wanna! Jones' tantruming leg kicked upwards as Kent bent over, directly meeting the nurse's crotch. Ooh. Kent let out a girlish whimper. Yeah, that I do not blame him for a single second. Give it to me. Randal snatched the syringe from Kent and plunged it into Jones's arm. Huh? It was an immediate success. All of his limbs went slack and his head lazily tilted to the side. Oh my, you didn't have to be so rough. How else was I supposed to? The nurse squatted to give Jones another once-over. Are you okay, sweetie? My arm hurts. I'm sorry you had to see that. He takes his medication for these incidents, but sometimes it's not enough. Let's go back to your room, big guy. I got this under control. Are you sure? Without responding, the guard grabbed Jones's hands, but the patient remained in place. Randal then wrapped his arm around the side of Jones, and with a grunt, managed to get him to shakily stand up. Kent nodded and left. Good God, you're heavy. They were moving at a snail's pace. Strong as Randal was, he still had difficulty walking alongside and supporting the weight of the drowsy Jones. Daddy. Huh? I ain't your daddy. I missed you so much, Daddy. That drug's messing with your head. I followed behind the two until they eventually reached Jones's room. Peeked from the doorframe. Randal brought him into bed, stared at the man, and, unexpectedly, gently tucked him in. Can you read me a bedtime story again, Daddy? Mama doesn't do it anymore. Though Jones looked like he could fall asleep in the next minute, he weakly pawed at Randal's shirt. I said I'm not your... Please? Though I couldn't see Jones's face, there must have been some serious puppy eye sorcery going on. Randal sighed in defeat. You're asking me to tell a story that I told my kids 15 years ago? Fine, I'll try. Let's see. You have some books. The hell? Why are all of them engineering? Something simple. What about the three little pigs? Piggies. Once upon a time, there was a daddy pig, a mommy pig, and a baby pig. No, wrong story. Once upon a time, there was a little pig who was delivering cookies to her sick grandma. Not it either. Whatever, I give up. No, not yet. What about an ending? You don't want an ending where the wolf eats the piggies, right? Nuh-uh. More fun to me. But yada yada, the pigs hold hands with the wolves and live happily ever after. Rainbow friendship sprinkles for everyone. Yippee, the end. Threw imaginary confetti in the air and sunk back into his seat. Thank you. Who am I kidding? That was garbage. I could do better than that. Try it again, this time telling a better version. After he finished, he looked up to find Jones already asleep. Good night. Randal lightly patted the snoring man. The guard trudged out of the bedroom, sighing and rubbing the back of his head. Well, that was a day. You're a great storyteller, you know. You were outside? He turned around, but couldn't hide the smoke gushing out of his barrel and his normally gray gun head turning a slight shade of pink. Forget what you saw. What Randal did was sweet and genuinely heartwarming, but that day broke something in him. He quite greatly withdrew. If I somehow managed to see him, he was always drunk. It was exhausting cleaning up all of his bottles, and even more frustrating to look at him. So he is a parent. We heard he got divorced, but we didn't hear what happened to them. So I'm guessing she kept custody of the kids. He doesn't see them anymore, and I'm sure the alcoholism is a big factor in that as well. What are you doing? Lying on the floor? Are you gonna get up? No. What the hell was I supposed to do? I told him to stop drinking. Whenever I threw away his bottle, another materialized into his hand. This wasn't the guard I fell in love with. I did my best to cheer him up and motivate and everything to wipe away that glassy-eyed stare he had. Ooh, I'm about to escape. Won't someone put an end to my wiles? Go ahead for all I care. Though I never told her, Priscilla immediately picked up on his gloominess and approached me about it. What happened? Randal looks more down in the dumps than usual. I'm not sure. Acevedo will know what to do. Remember Randal, the guard I was bugging? He's not acting like he used to. I'm just worried about him. He means a lot to me. Then you let him know that. But I have. It's not helping. Remain calm, but insistent. Remind him of the social and psychiatric support he has. Alright, he's a stubborn guy, but I'll try. I stormed to security and snatched the bottle right out of his hand. This is an intervention. I want to talk. Privately. We met on the roof. It was the tallest structure by a long shot. Beyond the ward's fence were stretches and stretches of farmland with houses interspersed throughout. The faintest bit of twilight was climbing the horizon. Priscilla likes to come here. I tell her not to since it's dangerous, but I can't stop the head honcho. I can see why though. It's quiet on the rooftop. No nosy patients or other security guards demanding my attention. Randal stared at the ground, several stories beneath us. What do you think would happen if I jumped from this height? I'd stop you. But what if you couldn't? Would I instantly die? A meager leg break? There's many possibilities. What would be the most likely outcome? Why are you saying something like this? The joke isn't funny. I'm just thinking. Well, you're worrying me. As if he was reflecting, Randal stayed silent for several minutes, pressing his gut hand against the metal fence. He let out a long and tired sigh. Do I worry you that much? I used to barely tell what's going on in that brain of yours, but the way things have been going, often. Then, is our relationship even worth it anymore? What do you mean? I keep dragging you down. I'm always so negative and pitiful that surely you must be annoyed. Why do you stay with me? Because I care about you. But I don't know where to go or what to do anymore. I don't care about my life. My health and mind are terrible. No wonder Karen left me. Uttering his beloved's wife's name froze him in place. Randal had held his hand over his barrel, choking back sobs. Just leave me too. I'm hopeless, Manson. Absolutely hopeless. Every waking moment reminds me of my failures. I'm gonna end this problem once and for all, and you'll never have to deal with Mr. Crump again. My heart froze. I had to say something quick, lest he did something he'd drastically regret. Don't do this to me. Don't put me in a position where the wrong choice ends with him jumping to his death. Please do not do that. Please do not put me in that situation. Okay. My gut is telling me that being rational is not what needs to happen right now. That's what my gut is telling me. Maybe I think I made a mistake. Life gets better, Randal. Knock some sense into yourself or I'll do it for you. The past happened and you can't change it, so stop feeling so sorry for yourself. It's selfish. I love you and care about you, so don't be doing something dumb like that. Okay, I made a mistake. Randal continued to shake and press his head against the fence. He slammed his fist against the metal. I'm sorry, Manson. It was wrong of me. Okay, maybe I was right. It was wrong of me. You're right. I've always been a selfish man. I pulled Randal to a tight hug. In return, he weakly patted my back. Don't beat yourself up for it. We headed down the stairs with him leading the way. Once we reached the bottom, Randal finally spoke. Manson, I'll be using the restroom. I'll be using the restroom. You can go back to your room. Are you sure? Just go. Leave me alone. I nodded my head, trudging onwards. A wet bang noise came from within the stall. Disturbingly wet. No, he couldn't have. I stood there in shock as Kent barreled into the bathroom and screamed. I'm sorry, Randall. I was the selfish one. You know, Thug, when you said that this was the darkest route, I wasn't quite expecting this. I don't know what I was expecting. I was not expecting this. Fuck. Okay, let's try this again. Look at all the time we spent together. Was that worth anything? When we first met, I was an annoying twerp and you wanted nothing to do with me. You've changed so much. We're inseparable through thick and thin. You're the peanut butter to my jelly, and the world will suck without it. And do you know how helpful you are to others? That was so sweet what you did for Jones weeks ago by tucking him in and reading. But I was so garbage at it. Jones appreciated it, you know? When we're together, I'm reminded of her. But I'm not her. I don't know all the sides of the story, but I have zero plans to leave anytime soon. Priscilla cares about you. I care about you. Everyone in the ward does. You aren't alone. It'll hurt me more than anything in the world. Please, just get help. I'm sorry, Manson. It was wrong of me. You're right, I've always been a selfish man. Pulled Randall into a tight hug. In return, he grasped me back, rubbing his barrel against my neck. You're dumb, but not selfish. We headed down the stairs with him leading the way. Once we reached the bedroom, Randall finally spoke. Don't you fucking do this to me again. Don't you fucking do this to me again. Randall, I'll be in the restroom. You go back to your room. Are you sure? I was so scared you... Fuck, don't do that. Don't fuck with me like that. Went back to my room and collapsed on the bed. I can't sleep. I can't sleep. I can't sleep. Randall's frightening monologue kept rattling in my skull. Why did I let him leave my sight? A horribly loud knocking noise in the middle of the night woke me up. I rushed to open the door. Randall stumbled in and pinned me to the bed, reeking of alcohol. Hey, what gives? Tears spilled out of the barrel. I almost did it. God, I almost did it. You wouldn't believe how close. Randall was too distraught for me to interrupt him. He kept weeping and weeping, and all I could do was stare upwards at the muscular man. Should I hug him? Say that's gonna be okay? I'm a coward, Karen. A big, drunken coward. The barrel was in my mouth, but something kept holding me back. Daddy couldn't go through with it. I cupped the side of his head. The way it trembled in my hand nearly brought me to tears too. Thank goodness he's alive. You're not a coward. He definitely needed a hug. Let's get you the help you need. I'm sorry. Sorry. We stayed cuddling each other for the rest of the night. I still couldn't fall asleep. I held him tightly as if he would disappear for good if my hands were tired. Took way too long for his breathing to level. What? Oh, I was able to fall asleep. Thankfully, Randall was next to me, snoring just as loudly. Morning, sleepyhead. It's time for us to get up. Already? I'll be taking it easy. Tell Priscilla I won't be working today. I watched him drive off. Walking outside my bedroom, I collided with the aforementioned nurse. Did something happen between the two of you? Though the two were friends, I had no idea how to tactfully bring up last night. Kind of. It's not a laughing matter, I'll tell you that. I'm aware. He put in a temporary leave without explaining. I have my eye on you, hon. I swear, if you hurt Randy... And I swear I did not. How did he look, giving you the slip? Hard to describe. Solemn, but not like the weight of the world was on his shoulders anymore. We breathed a sigh of relief. Things were eerily quiet for a couple of days. I had no form of communication with Randall, so I hoped everything was alright. I walked down the flight of stairs, wondering why I was going there. Was I finally leaving? To my surprise, I saw Randal carrying a suitcase and talking to a file cabinet-headed receptionist. Hey kid, I'll be staying here for a bit. And you can thank me for your roommate assignment. A heavy floor scraping sound echoed through the hallway, accompanied by Ken's strained grunts. It was getting closer by the second. Before I knew it, a bed was blocking my door entrance. I heard you're having a new roommate, sir, so I'm bringing another bed in. Except it looks like a tight fit. How'll this work? So Randal and I weren't sharing a bed then. A little disappointing, but understandable. I'll help. Wow, this bed was heavy, and I wasn't much help in gaining ground. A pair of hands on my side gripped the frame and pulled it closer than I ever could. I'll help too. Pop! The bed slid through as I fell backwards on my butt from the extra force. Randal chuckled from above. Thank you, sirs. With all three of us working together, we pushed the furniture to the back wall, a couple feet away from my own. Once everything was set up, Randal lay down on the tucked-in sheets. Finally, I can take a nap. You've admitted yourself, Mr. Anderson? Yeah. I see. It's gonna be alright. We'll take great care of you. The nurse bowed, leaving us be. Where have you been? Went to see my old man. That SOB never changes, but I somehow love the guy. I rubbed his back while he chuckled. Glad you're alright. Me too. We don't need a second bed, do we? Nah, get over here. It's been a series of mostly downs for me, but I'm crawling my way up from that abyss. I miss the past. Everything used to be more comforting, simpler. The nostalgia had taken over my mind, clouding important things that were in front of me, like you. I rested my head against his chest. Yeah, there are a million things that if I could turn back time, I'd redo, but then I would never meet you. Ditto. And that is the philosophy that I subscribe to as well. Just, yeah, it would be nice to change your mistakes, but, you know, the butterfly effect is a real thing. That things happen for a reason. That you gotta have your lows before you can reach your highs. I totally get it. I totally do. You should get some sleep. Gotcha. I imagine it'll be a long day ahead of us. He rolled onto his bed and fell straight asleep. I admired how quickly he could do so. Good morning, room 309. It's time to wake up. I slept like shit. Hell, your loud-ass snoring didn't help. Gah! Randal had daintily rolled off the bed and crash-landed on the floor. The tangled bed sheets wrapped around his legs were holding him hostage. So what's the schedule here? Did they not tell you when you arrived? I, declined. I thought I knew everything here since I've been working for a while. First, surprise, surprise, we gotta get ready. We stood up to grab a clean change of clothes for the shower. Christ, I didn't realize the water was this cold. Dude, you were in the shower with Manson, like, months ago. We passed each other at the tiny bar soap and scrubbed. It was quite nice to sneak peeks at Randal's toned body and all of its tan lines. Wondered if he was doing the same. I never asked, who's gonna be your doctor? He was the only one I knew since you talked about him, and Dr. Acevedo. Will he be a fit for me? If he somehow worked for me, he'll definitely work for you. Oh. Randal wouldn't stop anxiously rubbing his hands. The room was quiet. That grumpy older man, always scaring off the patients, was now sitting down as one of them. We have a new member here today. Would you like to introduce yourself? Randal. Hi, Randal. Care to tell us about yourself? Security guard. But in front of us, with his hands gripping the seat till his knuckles were white, was Mr. Pleasant Dice. Knowing the guard's strength, he kept his distance. Jerry, however, was more teasing. Whatever shall you do now that you're in plain clothes? Perhaps I'll steal your chaotic buddy for myself, I could use the entertainment. I'll give him a lighter and see how long it takes for him to set off the fire alarm. Or was that already one of his escape attempts? I have a name, you know. Screw you, Jerry. In any outfit I'm wearing, you're not worth my time. He cracked his knuckles. Jerry got the message and fled. The man of the hour collapsed onto bed. Sorry for today. I've never really been a patient in a hospital or in a place like this before. You did alright, but you'll get used to it. Tossing and turning for a comfy spot, Randal rubbed his barrel. Sure could use a shave, too. A shave? Right, the gunhead issue. I have a beard that's getting a bit long. Yeah, he did strike me as the guy who would have a beard. Yeah, I figured he had a beard. Ooh, sexy. What a shame. I really wanted to run my hands through his beard, but all I felt was metal. I don't think we're allowed razors, but ask Kent. He's good at cutting hair. We'll see. Randal sat next to me during lunch. How was Doc? I see why you like him so much. Very cordial and appreciated your recommendation. He stared at the food and the medicine right beside it. He told me it's an SSRI. It's supposed to lift my mood. I can't comment on the type, but there's a bajillion medications out there. Mine is an antipsychotic. Popped my pill into my mouth to show him it meant no harm, except for its awful taste. As he slowly swallowed his, I caught sight of a bright red board peeking from behind a pole. Hey Jones, wanna sit with us? Don't you recognize Randal? He helps you into bed. Oh, I do, but I'm gonna sit with Kent now. Really, it's fine. He won't bite. I'm sorry, for what I said. You looked so much like my dad that day. For whatever reason, he began humming and rocking back and forth. That'd be some way to break the ice. You guys have more in common than you think. What about, movies? I like cartoons, especially anything with animals. It's a cartoon dog in my favorite gadget show. I used to own a hunting dog named, Hunter. Horses aren't too bad either. I rode one this year. Well, I never owned a pet, but if I had one, I'd name him Baxter. Oddly specific name. Tell me about the horses. I've always wanted to ride one, but I'm so heavy I don't want to hurt them. They aren't that delicate. There's a farm nearby. Maybe once you're released, you can try. The two laughed and rambled about animals for a good chunk of time. Jones, by the end of it, was sparkling. Thank you for spending time with me. Hey Jones, I need your help. The patient shrunk somewhat at an unfamiliar face, but came closer when he saw what the guard was carrying. This radio busted the other day. Priscilla told me you were great at fixing stuff. Oh yeah, I can take a look. And hello to you, little buddy. The meathead waved to me before strutting away. Little buddy. Like your nickname for me is Kid, that guy's been calling me that. Oh, like your nickname for me is Kid, the guy's been calling me that. It ain't fair for me to not partake in the fun, so, I know, you're a hotshot. Get it? Cause, yeah, I get it. No wonder you're a kid. Oh boy, yeah, I was wondering how she was taking this. At a nearby table, Priscilla snorted at our nonsense. All the men around me inevitably date their own kind instead of me. What a cruel fate. It is what it is. Maybe I'll try batting for the same team again. Yeah. Yeah, I did have this line. Yeah, I did have this line mentioned to me as part of a conversation about the game. So yeah, it's nice to know the full context. Okay, I'm all done. We backed away and allowed the patient to rest the repaired radio on the table and turn the dials. The wires and dials were coated in ash, probably from cigarette smoke. It wasn't hard to clean, so the radio's ready to play. Whoops, what an unusual situation. Whatever could have happened? Randal intently listened to the song on the radio. Swaying his head back and forth, he tapped his fingers to the rhythm. Country music's my favorite genre. Jimmy Buffett is another hero of mine. He autographed one of my vinyls. Oh, lucky bastard. I do wish I was as good as them. Ken approached with a smile and a stack of lunch trays to still pass out. What's stopping you? Music is great for therapy and healing. You can always find a new hobby. Hey, now that I think about it. Putting down the stack, he left for a moment and came back with a guitar. He brushed the dust off of it. We used to play a bit of instruments in therapy. Many of them were sold off, but you can have this. So I just love seeing how all the roots like connect with each other. I love that so much. Randal blushed. Thanks, but are you sure I can? Sweet! Do you know how to play one? No, but I'll try. Kent further fished around and found a children's music book, apparently from Aceveto's shelf. Meanwhile, the guitar was beat up, missing a string, and heavily out of tune, but it worked. Feels nice to keep my hands busy. I'm glad! You would have loved the topic group therapy covered about this. Want a drink to celebrate? No, I don't need it anymore. Randal over the days continued practicing until he got pretty good. I walked in on him one day playing a song. The man stood on the tri-chair, giving the guitar a couple of tentative strokes. I clapped anyway. He lightly chuckled and adjusted the instrument's position. Oh boy. Suddenly, 3 more joined me, forming a tiny crowd, specifically a mirror, a lamp, and a chair. Not escape-worthy, but it'll do. Go, Randal! Show that guitar who's boss! Encore! Encore! Thank you. What if I become a musician? Pretty different job than what you're used to, but I respect it. If you're a guitarist, then I'll be the triangle player. I reward him with a kiss on top of his head. Come here, you. Randal grabbed me and we rolled onto the bed, chuckling and feeling up each other's chests. Jeez, look at all that chest hair you have. I'm kinda jealous. Even your armpit and leg hair are denser than mine. I nipped his shoulder. Things were getting serious and steamy over here. Is that a gun in your pocket, or are you happy to see me? Ew, get a room, you two. We're currently in my bedroom, idiot. Upon realizing I wasn't stopping to unbuckle Randal's pants, she blushed and immediately vanished into thin air. Can't believe I'm being kicked out. I was here first, you know. His pants dropped to the ground and then his shirt. I shoved my face into... Okay, okay, somehow that's... Somehow that's too far for me. like the gay sex, fine, whatever. Yeah, shoving your face into an armpit, yeah, that's a bit too much for me. Yeah, get in there. Hair. Okay, hey, you're into what you're into. With a grunt, we came together. Thankfully, with no accompanying gunshot. Thankfully. However, his genuine load blasted all over me. 10 out of 10 for aiming, but a 0 out of 10 for eventual hair washing. Fuck me. I loved every second. Same. Though I wish you didn't leave such a mess back there. Want me to look it all out of your butt? You'll be squeaky clean. His answer was a swift karate chop on my head. Ow! Okay, I'll use a condom next time. I like that we can spend as much time together as we want. I did a double take when Randal used the fork to bring the spaghetti into his barrel. Clearly sounded like he was chewing, too. My curse has been like 6 months and I still don't understand how his head works. How is it? It's alright. I've had better. Want me to cook the spaghetti once we're out? You'll already be better than me. As the days passed, we spent each minute inseparable. Randal gradually but noticeably was improving. While not a chatterbox, he was more lively during group therapy. Screw what people think. It's your life, so live it. I concur. As I was resting on my bed, Randal came in and held a signed paper. He laid down next to me. You're leaving tomorrow? Yeah, I'm feeling fresher, like the world isn't on my back. Before you go, could you at least tell me what your wife was like? I still want to know. Randal sighed. Karen, more beautiful than you can imagine. Curly brown hair and blue eyes that just drew you in. We met like any normal couple. Got married before you know it, had 2 children, both boys. So what happened? Dr. Acevedo and I spent all of our sessions discussing this problem, and I finally understand. It was so obvious. Too obvious. I was always in my own little world, and so was she. Karen's head was filled with taking care of our children and supporting the home when mine was cowboys and horses. It was no wonder we drifted apart. It was too hard to swallow the truth. I couldn't bear to see the kids again because I blamed myself, then felt guilty for not seeing them, creating this downward spiral of hating myself. I wanted to be alone and deal with the world on my own. Randal gulped before continuing. His hands were quivering. Really gets to you. Thought of myself as no good, rotten, worthless. Soon I found the only thing that numbed me from my thoughts was the drink. Look where I am today. She didn't talk about her problems a lot, which didn't help that I was the same way. We're both at fault, and I need to get it through my thick skull to accept it. But I've been grieving for far too long. Dr. Acevedo says I need to move on and stop focusing on the past, or I'll continue being miserable. Find healthier habits and ways to cope. When I'm ready, seek support from someone I trust. That man knows everything. We're both lucky to have such a good doctor. I'm glad you told me. Me too. Once I'm out, I'll visit her and apologize. Sure, the kids have moved out of the house already, but I'll track them down and apologize anyway. After that, I'm definitely ready to move on, Manson. Come here. He wrapped my body into his burly arms, locking us into a hug for the rest of the night. The morning of, Randal met me by the ward's entrance and passed me a small gift. Hey, I want you to have this. Traced my thumb across the shiny metal. It was his security badge. I'll be finding a job that better suits my aspirations. Best luck to your searching, Randal. As soon as I'm released, I'll track you down. Make sure no one was around. I gave a quick peck on the tip of his barrel. Bye. Manson, how long have you been a patient? Several months, I believe. Inside of the office, leaves were turning warm colors and flying whenever the wind took them. Couldn't believe it was autumn already. How time flies. You were certainly rambunctious at first, giving me and security a full-time job of preventing your escapes, but you settled in nicely. You've made great improvements, not only finding growth within yourself, but in turn helping others open up and find theirs. Above all, I'm very proud of you. I should at least let you know that Randal and I are dating now. Oh, how lovely. He said the same thing. My face was embarrassingly red. Don't worry. While I usually keep therapy confidential, I felt this necessary to say. The doctor laughed and walked to his desk to sign a paper. You're free to go. Could you notify Randal? I want him to pick me up. Of course. I hope you two stay happy. Thanks, Doc. You're the best. I packed all my bags, looked at the empty bedroom, and smiled. Finally, I perfected my ultimate escape. Took in a deep breath of air. I was always meant to be free. Yo, hello, handsome. And I'm not just saying that because you're a spitting image of me without the... Hold on. Further down in the parking lot, a bearded man was waving at me. His face was not familiar, but I recognized those clothes in his truck. Hey, Manson. And that voice. Randal. I sprinted down the steps, across the pavement, and into his arms. He picked me up, and we patted each other on the back. Once he put me down, we fist bumped. Been a while. I missed you. Me too. You're all done with this place? There's a guitar and tenting gear loaded in the back. Looks like we're going on this camping trip after all. Hey, there she is. By the entrance, Priscilla waved goodbye. Jones was also present, timidly waving behind her. How great that the nightmare was finally over. I threw my bags into the back and we drove off, never to return. One more scene. Yeah, he looks awesome, dude. And again, I'm not just saying that because he looks like me. I'm just, yeah, he looks exactly like how I imagined him, which is a first. And everyone else, I guess kind of Acevedo, but like Priscilla and Kent in particular, they did not look at all like I expected them. But yeah, Randal looks exactly like I expected him to look. Randal had quit his job to become a small-time musician. He wasn't Vegas level, but good enough for us to travel. For the past 2 years, 2 years, wow. We jumped from state to state in his beat-up truck, living a down-to-earth life. His backup plan was becoming farmers and horse owners, which was completely fine by me. Life was calm with just the two of us. On a particularly long road trip, we were singing a country song on the radio, recorded by him. I played an air guitar to mimic the solo coming soon. Randal chuckled. Our voices were harmonious. One deep going back and forth in a more energetic and higher-pitched voice. The radio only provided the tune. Do 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 do. I pressed my face against the window. Hey, we reached Michigan. Let's have some lobster. That's Maine, you idiot. I believe that's Maine. Close enough. There's a bunch of water here that we can fish for some. Is that true, Mr. Map Reader? Hey, let's stop here for the night. He pulled into a campground and grabbed our supplies. He was still more experienced than I was, but I happily passed him all of his tools. I like the tent you're pitching. Just give me the mallet, Manson. I nuzzled his neck. A good pitch tent. It is mighty fine. Would you like to feel it once it's done? Why not? We have the time. Afterwards, Randal and I were inside the tent making out. His beard tickled my nose. It felt good to the touch. It felt nice to touch. Do I make you Randy? You brought the lube and condoms, right? Yeah. Hey, since you've been driving all day, why don't you relax and let me do the work? Good boy. As we caught our breath, I rested my head against his hairy chest. What a way to finish the evening. I stared at those brown-gray eyes one more time before kissing him on the lips. Let's get the sleeping bags out, hotshot. We wrapped our arms around each other and cuddled, listening to the crickets chirping outside. I felt safe in his embrace. Good night. I had an amazing time with Randal these past years, and I wanted to spend countless more adventures with him. I was happy, he was happy, and that was all I needed. I hope the future stayed equally as great. Ending 17, Clock of Ages. And there's the gun. Wow. Again, Thug, when you said this was the darkest of the routes, you were not kidding. Wow. Well, that was a ride. Again, that was a good one. That really was a good one. Just I did see one of the things I like is that, like, yeah, there are 4 men, like there are 4 guys in this story, but like I love how they're each like distinct from each other in terms of like I have to actually go through Jones first to see how he is, but like, you know, you got Acevedo, who's straight, who is, you know, just straight up homosexual. You got Kent, who's bisexual, openly bisexual. Then you got Randal, who bi-curious, as the game story put it. So it's kind of interesting, like how there's different levels to this, if that makes sense. And I did actually like the twist of having one of the staff become a patient. Like that was actually very interesting way to go about it. Yeah, so yeah, I like how there are some unique elements in each route so far. Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah, I like this. I like this game a lot. So, wow. But yeah, that was about the same length as the others. So yeah, I'm glad to see there's some consistency here with these writings. I was told that Jones's story is slightly longer, so I guess we'll see how that goes when the time comes. But yeah, as of now, yeah, that'll do it for this episode. So up next will be the Jones route, and after that, Dorothy. So we're getting there. We're getting there. We're 2/3 of the way through. So that'll do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to give it a like and leave a comment what you thought. Be sure to subscribe so you're aware when the next episode releases. And And remember to stay awesome. Take care.